Hey guys, I just wanted to give you an update on my tomatoes, and also I'm going to pull my potatoes out today. Had problems with them and they just don't look good, so I'm going to rip them out, but I want to show you how big my tomatoes have gotten since my last video. Look how big they are. They're like a jungle. I have to trim. I haven't trimmed. I trimmed twice last week. And this is what they look like now, but they are monstrous. And you can see all my bell peppers, how big they are. My dill, everything got humongous. And these beds look super, like it's dense in there. I got to give it some better airflow, so I'm going to cut it down. But you can see my tomatoes. You can see all of the new ones setting, and every single time that I get on my tomatoes, I'm going to feed these before I water them. Every time I get a new set of flowers is when I fertilize. Every single time. See the fruit? I'm going to fertilize these and water these today like a jungle. These two. My sweet potatoes are taking over. That's okay. I don't have a problem with that. See all my fruit? See, this is the first set I did not pinch off. There's no reason. See how, look how thick this has gotten to support it and tall. You don't have to pinch off your fruit. Now they're getting big enough to where I can start weeding them through the panels. And it will take all the weight off of the stem. They all got huge, and that's out of control. But I covered up that potato bed because I'm going to harvest it today, and this is cilantro that went to seed. It's going to seed. Very pretty. But I'm going to harvest this. I just don't want it wet because that'd be a beast to harvest if it rained on it. I'm going to try to beat this rain so I can get these out. I came over the other day and I pulled a couple of purple ones out. And now I have 3 different types in this bed, which it doesn't bother me to mix them. But I had some purple, red, and then white potatoes that I bought at the store. And I just threw them all in together. Now I planted these at the beginning of March. And it is June 7th now, so they're dying. The tops are starting to die off, but you really want to wait until all the tops have yellowed or turned brown. But a lot of them have. You can see a lot of them are dying off. That's actually a tree, not supposed to be in there, but they start to yellow. These have been eaten by the stupid little beetles, but that's what they look like when they start to die. You want to wait till they die off. And you can go by the days of maturity, but I usually just go until the tops die off, and that's when I start harvesting them. You can harvest potatoes anytime. It just depends on how big you want them to be. Like I was saying, you can harvest them at any time. Potatoes, they're just, if you want the full size potatoes, you have to wait until the maturity date, or how many days you're supposed to count. If you want smaller potatoes, well, a lot of people like the smaller baby potatoes. You can harvest them earlier and just take a couple off the top and let the plant keep growing. But I'm going to rip everything out today and see what I get. Because I didn't water this bed very often, so I don't know if I'm going to get a good harvest off of this. But it was something new for me to put it in the raised bed this year to see if it did anything different. So let's see what I get. So when I planted these, I planted potatoes and I put a really thick layer of straw on top, and they grew right through. They didn't have a problem. So, I mean, that's good. I'm just going to pull back a little bit and see if any more are laying on the top. I think I got the ones the other day that were laying on the top. They were just sitting on top. It was crazy. This one, it's a couple of them. You see them? Purple ones. Couple little babies. Remember, I didn't let these go to maturity. I'm just gonna harvest them and use this bed for something else. Let's see what else I can find. See if I lift one of these bad boys out of here. What they're gonna give me. Ooh, hello. Okay. So, I don't know if you guys can see this one. This one is all shriveled up and it's connected at the base. This was the mother potato, the one I planted. And then, of course, here's all the little potatoes coming off and their tubers, and the tubers. And I see some purple in there, some more red. Just gonna dig around here and see what I get. I did mix them, so. And remember, if you are gonna try to pull up potatoes, that's a tree. If you're gonna try to pull up potatoes, try not to water them. I haven't watered this bed in a week, trying to dry this bed out. Ooh, running away potato. Because I didn't want it to be really thick and heavy, the soil, and it sticks. See, look how clean these are compared to if you watered them, then all of the soil would be sticking to them. So remember, don't water your bed before you harvest. I'm going to keep going on this bed. It's trying to sprinkle on me. And it's overcast today. We had a cold front come in and the mosquitoes are out for blood today. I hate skeeters. Just want to show you the potatoes I got out of just this little section right here. Not bad. Okay, down to my last little bit. Let's see. I actually had 4 types. I take it back. I had 4 types of potatoes in here. I had some russets in here also. The white and the red did amazing this year. I think it's pretty good for not really watering this bed at all. I did a couple times, but not much. But, and I know I got some more over here. I'm gonna filter. Oop, run away. Yeah. Did real good this year. I finished the bed, but I knew there was probably more potatoes at the bottom. So I got a fork out and I just started around the rim and I worked my way in and I'm just flipping the soil over, and of course I jabbed that one, but I can wash that and use this one. It'll still be good. But this is the haul from that bed. It wasn't too big of a bed, but I think that's pretty good for just planting about maybe 20 potatoes. I got 3-4 times back what I put in the ground, and I didn't water it that much, and a lot of them, they look beautiful. They don't have hardly any disease and no pest. So, I mean, I have purple ones in here too. Oh. Now, I don't know if you can see that. The skin on the potatoes, when you pull them out, is very, very thin. So you have to be careful when you're pulling them out. That's why I don't like to use the fork. I use my hands, but this was a bed, a raised bed, so it was easier to take out. Now, when it was in the ground, it's harder. But, I mean, the skin is very thin. So what you need to do is you need to, if you want to store these long term, you're going to have to put them somewhere dry. If you have a fan that can oscillate, or a fan that can just move the air around wherever you put them, like a garage, that'd be great, and let them cure for about, I'd say about 3 weeks, 3 to 4 weeks. And then the skins on these should be harder, and they'll store for a good while. I'm still eating off the sweet potatoes I pulled out last year, and they are not rotted at all. So as long as you find a cool, dark place to let them cure in, it's going to be a lot of dinners. And remember, don't wash these. If you want to store them for long term, you don't wash them. A lot of people freak out because there's dirt on it, but the dirt's not going to hurt anything. It's been in the dirt the whole time. Why would this little bit of dirt hurt them now? Okay, because they're going to dry, the dirt will fall off. You'll be able to just gently brush it off once they're cured. No problem. Don't wash them. Just like garlic, a lot of people pull them out and wash them. You're introducing mold and all kinds of stuff. Leave them alone. Let them stay in their husk or papers, if that's what you want to call them. And the same thing with potatoes. Don't wash them. You don't need to wash them. Let them dry completely. The dirt will come off. Guys, so you saw everything I got out of that bed. Not a bad harvest for not watering them, or I didn't fertilize them either. Just stuck them in the ground, put a really thick layer of hay or wheat straw, and watered them just every now and then, maybe 2-3 times over 3.5 months. So I didn't do a lot for them, and they did great. Maybe next year I'll do 2 beds, and I'll fertilize them and water them more and see if I get a bigger harvest than the one I got. But I'm very happy with what I have right now. It's about 4 to 5 times. I say about 5, maybe 6, because there was a lot of potatoes in there. It didn't look like it, but what I put in the ground, and I probably spent probably about $15 on all those potatoes, seed potatoes, and I have multiple meals in there, so it was a good payoff for me. So I did plant those in the beginning of March. In my area, for my zone, it's different if you're in a different zone. I have more potatoes actually in containers and pots that I planted after those, probably a month after those, so I'm still waiting on those. Those are actually flowering right now. They were just potatoes that my parents brought over. Someone gave them a huge, like 50-pound bag of potatoes, and I planted them, and they came up beautifully, and they're growing good right now. But I'm waiting on those, so I'll have multiple rounds of potatoes coming out, plus my sweet potatoes at the end of the season. So go plant your gardens, and I'll see you guys next time. Some of my 5-spot flowers open. They're so pretty. It's nasturtium, and a nasturtium flower.